Right behind me, I've got the 2026 Toyota Sequoia Platinum. If you guys are new here, my name is Jason and I do reviews just like this here in Canada. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the different models that you can get with the Toyota Sequoias, the safety features you do get with the Platinum model, the engine and towing specs, the exterior, the interior, the infotainment system, and of course the pricing on this. Also, thank you to Orangeville Toyota for allowing me to review this beautiful Sequoia. All right, let's start things off in the front of this beautiful Sequoia. First off, this is in this gorgeous red color. I don't think video does justice because in person this thing looks fantastic. Now let's start off in the front bumper area here. So here along the sides, the top and the other side, obviously you do have the body color. In the center here you do have the black trimming, which is not fully gloss, with the LED fog lights there. There's also the front safety sensors, and then you kind of have like this rubber piecing along the bottom and kind of like this open area right where the sensors are. And even in the corners, I do like how you have this pocket, and this is functional, so you do have a vent that goes through, which is pretty neat. And then you just get into the grille area. Now I love the honeycomb look on this, and you kind of have like this black chrome all across the grille, and this thing stands out a lot. First off, you have your front sensor here, a front facing camera, and the Toyota badge obviously. And then you can't forget about these really cool looking LED front lights. I like the LED bar that kind of goes on the sides, and then you have the middle usual lights right there. And taking a step back, this thing looks pretty good. And this is probably something very small, but even on the hood I do like the lines, so it kind of adds a nice little aggressive front end look. Now as for what powers the Sequoia here, this does have the 3.4 liter twin turbo V6 hybrid engine, which makes 437 horsepower and 583 pound-foot of torque. Now in terms of towing, you can tow a little over 9,000 pounds when spec'd properly. And in terms of the fuel economy, you're looking at about 12.6 liters in the city and about 10.5 liters on the highway. All right, coming to the side of the Platinum here, you can see the size of this. This is a 3-row SUV, and this thing is massive in person. Now up top, this has one of my favorite things, which is gonna be the dual pane panoramic sunroof. And then you also have up top here the roof rails, which are also in like this black chrome look. Now around your windows at the top, you do have the body color, but then you do have black here, which is also against the pillar at the front. And then at the bottom, you do have the gloss black. And then as for the door handles, these do come body color, but the top and the bottom are in gloss black. And then as for the side mirrors, the cap here is body color, bottom portion is gloss black. You got the turn signal here, and then a side mirror camera for that full 360. Now over on the side of the hood here, you do have the iForce Max badging, and then even along the side of the vehicle here, you have more of the black chrome look, and then it also says Platinum, plus you do have this nice texture trimming behind that. And this also has the power side steps, so if I go ahead and open up the door, as you can see, they pop out. And this also has the perimeter lighting, which is definitely a nice look at nighttime. And yeah, when you close the door, obviously they sit nice and flush against the vehicle. What I also like on this is even around your wheel area here, you do have the black trimming. Now this is not like gloss black, you kind of have like a bit of a matte finish going on, but it does look good. And then you can't forget about these very cool looking and very nice 20-inch wheels, which are in this beautiful granite like color, and even the silver brake caps definitely pop out. So if I do take a step back, you can see these wheels fit the Sequoia perfectly. Something nice that the Sequoia does have is the adjustable rear leveling suspension. All right, coming around to the rear of the Sequoia, I love the rear, I think, more than the front, because the LED lights back here just make everything really, really nice. So over on the bumper back here, again, similar to the front end, you do have the body color up top, and then you do have the black trimming along the bottom. Again, it's not a full gloss. You do have like this matte finish kind of going on in this. There's also the rear safety sensors along with the rear reflectors. And if you see this little note here, it also has like this Wi-Fi symbol, and this is to kind of open up your tailgate via hands-free. So you just do a kicking motion. And also in the center here, you do have your hitch hidden away. And then underneath, you do have your spare tire, and your exhaust is right there. And then moving to the tailgate area, you've got this massive Sequoia lettering in black. There's also obviously the backup camera with a washer, more of the black trimming here, and the Toyota badge with more of the black in the background. And then you do have these very cool looking LED rear taillights. I am really digging these. I think this really just makes the rear end pop out. And then up top here on the glass area, you do have kind of like this built-in spoiler with a brake light. And this vehicle also has a digital rear view mirror camera. And then you probably notice this little button here. If I press this, this is going to unlock the glass portion. So you can open up the top half if you do want to just reach in quickly and grab something. So I like that because you don't have to open up the whole tailgate. Now let's go ahead and close this and open up the tailgate, and let me show you what that looks like. So this is a power opening lift gate, obviously, and with all of the rows up, and this is a perfect example because the right side is down right now. So this is how much space you have if all of the rows are up, and you do have like this shelf area as well if you do want to utilize that. You can also fit another one up top, so 2 shelf sections and then the bottom section as well. And you also have a section down here if you do want to have the shelving. And when you do fold down the seats here, you can obviously open up this whole area that you can definitely utilize. And not only that, back here you also have the power seat adjustments for the 3rd row, and then down here you do have a 120 volt plug. Now since these are power seats, you just have to press the button up just like this, and let me just remove the mats here. And as you can see, it comes up very, very convenient, I think. And if you thought that was enough, well, if you notice down here, you do have tracks on here and this little latch which you can pull out, and you can actually move these seats forward and backwards, which is pretty cool. And obviously, as you can see with this seat, it's actually reclined more than this one, so you can also recline these seats. All right, let's check out the interior on the Sequoia because it's pretty unique. So first off, you got an all black interior, but down here you do have multiple sections that you can definitely utilize, your water bottles, and then some space along the side and over here as well. You got a speaker here and a little one right here. This does have the JBL sound system. And then over here, you do have soft touch material with this nice blue contrast stitching, and even this trimming right here in gray, which is textured, and then this chrome-like trimming as well. And then even up here, you have soft touch with the contrast stitching, more contrast stitching up here. And then you really can't forget about your favorite thing, which is your hated blockers. All right, let's check out the interior now on this. So before I get into the 2nd row, I want to jump in the 3rd row. So show you what you get back there, the legroom, the headroom, and all that good stuff. So to get back there, it's very, very easy. So down here, you do have this little latch here, or the little handle. You can pull this and the seat automatically just pops up just like this. So then you have access obviously to the 3rd row. And back here, you do have the all black seats. These are plain seats. There's no perforated sections or anything. And on the sides, you do have the blue contrast stitching. Now, I'm gonna jump back here and show you the legroom and the headroom. Also, one thing to note, just like in the rear, I was showing you in the trunk area, how you can move these seats forward and backwards. Well, you have a latch right here as well on both the seats to do the same thing. And also, you do have this button right here, which is pretty much the same thing that you saw in the trunk area. It's to fold down the seats and bring them back up in the 3rd row. All right, entering into the 3rd row, legroom wise, it's pretty good. I mean, this seat can be adjusted, I'm sure, and even if it comes back a little bit more, I have a good amount of legroom. And I also like how these are captain's chairs, so this whole area opens up and I can definitely stretch my legs if obviously this is not being used. Now, the one thing that for me, comfort wise, the thigh support is a bit low for my liking, just because look at how much room there is. And I think for long road trips, this may not be for me personally, but for kids, obviously they're gonna be super happy back here. And in terms of the headroom, as you can see, it is a snug fit. Now, I am wearing a hat. For reference, I'm 5'11", and my head is touching the top, but I can still bear with this because if I just slide down or scooch down a little bit, it opens up a little bit of room, as you can see, and I'm still pretty comfortable back here. All right, other things that you get back here. Here is that button that I was talking about where you can recline these seats, so that's very nice. You have a USB port back here, your cup holders right here, and then even back here, you do have your very own hater blockers. Now, over on the other side, you'll probably notice that there's no USB port back there. Everything else is identical. However, you do have a little bit of room here, which does have a USB port. So you do have a phone holder or whatever you want to put there. And I wish that they put it on the other side as well, because I like this side way better. And to get out of here, if obviously you cannot reach the side here, you do have a strap, which you can just pull and the seat just goes up again. All right, now let's check out the 2nd row seats. Like I was mentioning, these are captain's chairs. So you do have this section down here where you can place some things. You got your water bottle areas. You've even got your very own armrest. You can also recline these seats. And like I was mentioning, the 3rd row seats are very plain. In the 2nd row, you do have the perforated back bottom sections. And if you look at it at a certain angle, you can see a hint of blue even within the perforated sections. You've got the contrast stitching in blue as well. And the 2nd row seats, to make it even better, you have them heated and ventilated. Now I'm gonna jump into the 2nd row and show you the legroom and the headroom. All right, in the 2nd row, look at how much room there is. I'm sure this seat, the driver's seat, can be adjusted even more, but still, I have a ton of legroom. Now, in terms of the headroom, this is a little bit better than the 2nd row because I can move around without scooching down even slightly. But yeah, here, headroom wise, it's pretty good. Now behind the driver and the passenger seat, I do like how it's all soft touch everywhere. There's no plastic or anything, and you do have your storage compartments on both of the seats. And not only that, even in the second row, you do have the grab handles on both the sides. Now over on the rear console area, you do have your cup holders with the chrome gray trimming. You got your venting, obviously. The climate controls are here with the heated seats, vented seats. You got 2 USB ports here and a 120 volt plug. All right, let's head to the front and see if anything is different compared to the rear. Not really. The only thing I can really notice is this area is a little bit different down here. Plus you do have the 2 water bottle sections, but you don't have the little speaker up here, and that's because it's over on the pillar on the inside. And everything else is pretty identical, other than of course your window controls, side mirror controls, and then you do have your driver memory seat controls. All right, as for the front seats, these are identical to the second row because you got the back perforated, bottom perforated, blue contrast stitching. The front seats also come heated and ventilated, which is nice. Not only that, but the seats also have a built-in massage feature. And then over on the side here, you do have your power seat adjustments, and then you do have this section here for your thigh extension, which is pretty neat because long road trips, you're gonna need this. Over here, you do have your hood latch release, and then you have a bunch of controls here. So on the bottom here, you do have your power side step controls, so you can have it out, auto, off. Heated steering wheel is right here. Here is the on-off button for the 120 volt plug, and here are the lighting controls, so once you do open the door and stuff. Here is your auto high beam, your fuel cap. Here is the cluster dimmer, odometer trip, and then your sensors to turn them on or off. And then as for the steering wheel, this does come power adjustable. Now once you're inside, I just want to show you something cool on the cluster, because when I go ahead and turn on the vehicle, you do have this nice animation that plays, which is pretty neat. All right, entering inside, your dashboard does have hard soft material with the blue contrast stitching and then the usual plastic. Now you've got a speaker here in the corner. You've also got a grab handle up here, a speaker in the center, and 2 more over there, plus another grab handle. And then if you look behind the touchscreen here, you do have some space that you can definitely utilize, plus a 12 volt socket. And then you get into your fully digital cluster area. I just love the way that this is, especially with the small little details. And this is a 12.3 inch cluster area. So on here, you can view obviously a ton of different information about the vehicle, and to control all of that, it is done through here. So if I just press left or right, as you can see, you can pop up a bunch of different information about the vehicle, and some of the menus will have more things within it. Now, as for the steering wheel, you do have the soft touch material. This does come heated. You also have like this perforated like section on the sides, and then more of the gray trimming all over the steering wheel, plus the gloss black on both the sides, the Toyota badge, and then over here, you do have your cluster controls right here, and the phone controls, volume controls, Bluetooth, and then the other side, you do have your cruise control settings, follow distance, lane keep, different modes for your radio, and then your seat controls. And then behind, you do have your exterior lighting controls, including the fog lights, high beams, and indicators. And then the other side, you do have your front and rear wiper controls. All right, now moving to the center armrest. This is pretty unique because you got soft touch on the sides with the blue contrast stitching. You have some space here and this nice looking trimming as well, which is textured kind of like the doors. And then you can open this up to have very small little space for credit cards or loose change or whatever. And then if you want to open up the main section, here it is. You have a ton of room in this, plus more little space here, and then you also have USB ports inside. Now over on the center console here, you do have all your different modes here, plus you do have the drive modes, the tow haul. Now in terms of the different drive modes, right now it is in eco, and then if I switch over, you can see you have a bunch. So let me just go to the very top here. You have custom, you have Sport S Plus, you got Sport S, normal, comfort, and then eco. I really like how whatever you go into, example Sport S, the colors and everything will change on the cluster. Over here, obviously you've got your handy dandy shifter. You've got more of that nice trimming here, and opening this up, you do have your front cup holders. Back here you have some space, but you do have a wireless phone charger. And then behind the shifter, here you have the hold button, the electronic parking brake, and then by the steering wheel, you do have your trailer brake controller. And then here you have a few buttons. So you have your trailer button, here is your cameras, traction control, hazards, and then you have these 2 buttons right here, which you can use to adjust the rear suspension. And before I forget, I want to show you the cameras here. So if I press this, as you can see, you have like this 3D look going on that goes around the vehicle. Now to see the actual cameras, like the bird's eye and all that stuff, if I put this into drive, and then I press the camera button. So here it is, you got the front facing camera and then the top bird's eye view, and then you have a bunch of different angles down here that you can view. So here you do have these side mirror cameras facing the front. Here is the usual backup camera, and then the side mirrors facing the rear. And then you have your guidelines, auto, all that good stuff is there. And it's the same thing once you go ahead and put this into reverse. you have all the angles and all the guidelines and whatnot. And then right above that, you do have all your heating and cooling temperature controls, including the heated seats, vented seats, and then over here, you do have another USB port. And then you get into your touchscreen here. And this is a 14-inch touchscreen, and in person, this thing looks massive. And I love how Toyota makes this very, very easy to use because there's only a few sections. So the first section here, which is your navigation, you do have to subscribe to this. The next one is your media section. Next is the phone section once you do have your phone paired. And I'm sorry if you see like a bunch of different lines glaring and all that stuff. It's just the camera. It's not like that in person. There's also the vehicle section. So you have your seat controls. This also has the massage seats, which is pretty cool. So if I press any of it, I can control all the settings, the intensity, all that good stuff. If I go back again, there's also the trip information. And then you do have the settings, which is pretty usual on any vehicle, and you can fine tune all of this. Now moving up here, what I really like that Toyota is doing is that you do have this, which is your intrusion sensor. Now some vehicles, yes, they do have like interior sensor cameras, but this is pretty unique. And then here is the rear view mirror. If you've been paying attention, this is also a digital rear view mirror. You have the mirror controls here and then the garage controls here. And then moving further up here, you do have your interior light controls, your sunroof controls, sunshade controls, the tailgate button, and then the SOS button here. And then if I just press this, here is where you can put your sunglasses. And here's the key fob for the Sequoia. It's your usual Toyota key. All right, let's come around to the passenger side and let me show you the dashboard and everything because it's pretty cool. You do have this nice texture trimming that you saw on the doors and the center console. Plus it also says Platinum. You got more of the soft touch, blue contrast stitching, and even the vents are pretty massive looking, and you've got the gray everywhere. And then obviously you do have your usual glove compartment space. And here are the different models that you can get with the Toyota Sequoias. And for the safety features, here is a list of them that you do get with the Platinum model. There's no window sticker for this Sequoia Platinum, but if you go on Toyota's website and build it out exactly like this, you're looking at about $117,650 Canadian. Well, that does it for the review on this 2026 Toyota Sequoia Platinum. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of this?